Hi guys, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV. How is everyone today? Hope you're well. Well, as you can see, the title of today's live log, as we know earlier on today, the FA charged Bernardo Silva for his tweet and is also investigating further with regards to the video that was posted on Instagram as well. So I just find it absolutely, if I'm honest, really, really incredible. So we'll wait and see what's going to happen with regards to that. So if anybody is on and wishes to discuss it briefly, then please feel free. And I'll just put on here, tell us about your thoughts on Bernardo Silva. See what people think about that, and we'll see where it goes. So yeah, I'm not sure where and what to think about it, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. So it's a very difficult subject. It's one that is it's divided opinions, certainly, with regards to the whole tweet and things like that. So I don't know. I'm not too sure about it. If I'm honest, I've got my own opinions and things like that. So we'll see what comes up. See what you guys think all about it. But hi Kamal, how are you, mate? I've read a few things today. Obviously, the usual City fans being irate over the fact that he was going to be charged. I must admit, am I surprised he's charged? Maybe, maybe not. Was I surprised the FA investigated? No, not at all. I don't think there was any doubt after it all came out that the FA would have had to have been, investigated. I just find the way the media, in general, and I'm not talking about all journalists here, I'm talking about in general, the way that they've just gone about it, considering the incidents that have occurred recently with other high-profile footballers on TV or in the media, and there's just been nothing ever made of it. And I think this has come out, and this has been done on Twitter. Now, it was something similar was done on Sky with Jamie Carragher and Joleon Lescott about are you wearing any pants tonight, because he had brown trousers on. Now, did you read any outrage from the mainstream media about that particular comment? Did Sky investigate Jamie Carragher's comments? Did the FA get involved? Did Kick It Out campaign, did they make anything big of it like they have done with the Bernardo Silva thing? No, nothing. Not a thing. Hi Chris Lindley, how are you, buddy? Kamal Dwyer, did Terry and Suarez get bans for their racist incidents, and if so, how long? Yes, Suarez did. I'm sure he got a ban. I'm sure, was it an 8-game ban he got? So the rumour is, and this is only a rumour, that Bernardo could get up to a 6-game ban for this. There's been no player who has been involved in this tweet, i.e. Benjamin Mendy, come out and complained to the FA about it, unlike the Evra Suarez thing. We've had Benjamin Mendy writing a letter to the FA. You've had Bernardo Silva writing a letter of apology to the FA, and it didn't mean to cause any offence. You've had Raheem Sterling speak out about it in defence of Bernardo Silva. You've had John Barnes talking about it in the defence. So it's not like the Evra Suarez thing. So to even claim it should be anywhere close to a ban like that, I find absolutely appalling. But it is Manchester City. It is a Manchester City player. And is it any wonder? Is it any wonder at all that City fans do get irate with regards to the way that we seem to be treated compared to other teams and other incidents in particular that are, mildly similar. Ben Norton is on. How are you, mate? You all right? Hi, Kamal Dwyer. They said it was aggravated. Yeah, it's BS. Aggravated. When you start using language like that, it's very dangerous. The FA have had it in for us and will find any excuse. They will do. I think a lot of this is to be fair to the FA, they definitely, like I said, I believe the FA had to investigate it. They couldn't just turn a blind eye to it, otherwise they'd be remiss of their duties as the FA. So, I mean, the investigation is fair enough, absolutely fair enough. They had to. Soon as Kick It Out campaign and all the media jumped all over it, they had no choice but to investigate it. But to charge him on this occasion, you could say he's right or wrong. It depends on what side of the fence you want to come at from the argument. It'd be the punishment that I find quite, if he was to be banned for 4 to 6 games, I would find that absolutely disgraceful, if I'm being honest. But who's that on here? Mutaz Metro says, when they going to announce their final decision? Well, he's got until, I think, is it the 8th of October to appeal, or make his appeal if he chooses to appeal on there. Obviously, the problem when you appeal is the fact that it could lengthen the ban. So I'm sure City's legal team are liaising with the FA and finding out, like they do in any court of law, finding out, come on, tell us what sort of ban are you thinking, if there is, or what sort of punishment, I should say. Is it going to be a fine, etc., etc.? If it is, then, it'd be a decision for Bernardo Silva to whether to say, okay, I accept the punishment. But he'll have to put out a statement to say it wasn't racist, but it was probably naive to put that particular tweet out, and I accept the punishment. I have been fined, and I have to go on some re-education program, something garbage like that, to satisfy the rest of the haters out there. But if he appeals it, and what could be a fine, and if it's overturned, great. If it's not, then it could turn into a ban, and that could be anything. So I'm sure they're working on with the legal team where to go next with regards to this. Kamal says he still shouldn't have posted it, and he was misinterpreted, but a 6-match ban is too much. He shouldn't. Well, I said that. I saw the tweet literally 10 minutes after it was posted, and my first reaction was, what's this going to create? And I've still got it. I took a screenshot of it because I thought, I can't believe it's actually posted that, if I'm being honest. Didn't think there was. I never looked at it from a racist point of view. I just looked at it thinking, this is just going to open you up to all sorts of accusations. We know that Bernardo and Mendy are very good friends and things like that. And there's always banter going on between them. But it was naive at best, if anything. Shedder's one is on. I can't understand people being offended on behalf of someone who isn't. Yeah, I've read lots of arguments along that lines. And I've also read people who have come back with, counter arguments to that suggestion. So it is a difficult one. I don't want to look at it, from just a City fan's perspective. I'm trying to look at it overall. And it is a very difficult one. It is a difficult one. Don't we have Liverpool in our next 6 Premier League games? Yes. Raza Saeed, racism must not exist in modern football, and footballers are role models for young kids. So what you're saying is it was clear racism, because that's what you suggesting that Bernardo's was racist, his tweet. But again, it goes back to it's how you interpret it, I'm guessing. It should be a clear example for all other clubs and players. Enough is enough. It should do, and the thing is, it's a good point, Raz. But the problem being is, you show me all the other bans, that the FA have punished, dished out to people. So, because it's a black person, what happened to Wayne Hennessy when he made a Nazi salute? And what did the FA do about that? Tell me. They accepted his explanation, which was he was covering up his mouth to talk to somebody and he was pointing in the air to get the waiter's attention. Yeah, right. You really believe that? Really? Have you seen the photograph evidence of that? And what they said was, we can't charge him. We can't find him guilty and punish him. So, I understand and I totally get the, punishments dished out for people who are anti-Semitic, racist, whatever you want to call it. Totally get that. But when you get clear racist agendas within the media against black players and other players, other ethnicities, and you get clear other players making Nazi salutes and getting away with it, but you're guaranteed for sure Manchester City, none of these have been offensive to the person that it was done to. It was banter, according to Ben Mendy. It was a joke. It was a laugh between us. Where is all the hoo-ha over Jamie Carragher saying to Joleon Lescott about the fact that he's where's your pants tonight when he had brown pants on? Nothing said about that. Where is the investigation by the FA into Paddy Power? Paddy Power, who posted after Kevin De Bruyne played a brilliant game, oh, he deserves a Milky Bar, with a Milky Bar kid holding a Milky Bar next to Kevin De Bruyne. Is that not racist? Do we know that the person who actually created that wasn't of colour, of ethnicity? Did anybody even ask what was the colour of the person? Was the colour of the person who created that actual graphic? Was he black? Was he Asian? Was he Chinese? Was he Japanese? Was he whatever? Did anybody ask the question? No, because nobody was offended by it. Is that where we've got to in life, that we've got to ask the question of who created that graphic, that image, to then try and prove, oh, well, hold on a minute, now because you said to me it's Chinese person, I now feel offended, it's racist, because you've got Kevin De Bruyne and the Milky Bar kid together, holding a chocolate bar. But if it was a white person to Kevin De Bruyne, nobody would say not a single thing. But it's still stereotyping a person's appearance, saying he looks like the Milky Bar kid, white chocolate Milky Bar. Why not post a white person holding a dark brown chocolate bar? So that's stereotyping. Milky Bar, white bar with a white kid who looks a little bit like a young Kevin De Bruyne. Was there any investigation or any complaints by Kick It Out campaign over things like that? Did they even ask the question of Paddy Power? No, not a thing. Because offence wasn't taken by Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne didn't go, you know what, I'm offended by this, so I'm going to get my legal team on it and I'm going to... No, it was a joke. So this is something where there is this fine line between people of colour and ethnic backgrounds getting offended by something that is posted by somebody who's not of the same colour or of the same, whatever, ethnicity. And it is, and I do understand it's a very fine line that can be crossed. Do I think the tweet was racist? No. Do I think the tweet was naive because of opening up all of this? Yeah, I do think it was. So, anyway, let's see who else is on. Is the rumour true that they are looking at charging Pep? Well, the rumour is that they are looking into Pep's comments on this. What's the odds that they'll charge Pep for aggravating racial disharmony with his comments. Something ridiculous. John Barnes said it wasn't racist and kick it out, and the FA are wrong. Jesus offered to buy in his bullshit. The Dalesman, they've not charged him with racism, which I think is a good thing. Should hopefully just be a fine. That image is still on those tweets, so are those tweets racist? Well, I mean, this was the point originally. The next day after all this came out, the media were quite happy to run with that image all over the back pages, all over it. So what? They're quite happy to publish and promote a racist tweet or image, caricature. They were quite happy to publish that. The photo looks so clear. He was doing a Nazi sign. Yeah, of course he does. Of course everybody knows. Of course they do. Football fan chat. Why is he being charged? Well, the official line is, if we have a look. The FA are aware of Pep Guardiola's comments in defence of Bernardo, where City manager said that young Benjamin Mendy looks like the mascot of a Spanish chocolate company. At this stage, it is not clear whether the FA plan any further action against Guardiola or if his comments will be used in the case against Silva. The Portugal international was charged with misconduct earlier on Wednesday for a tweet in which he compared his black teammate to the Conguitos, a Spanish confectionery brand. The FA charges detailed as insulting, improper, and bringing the game into disrepute. It's also been classed as an aggravated breach, meaning it's in the higher bracket of offence because it refers to race or colour. Now, they haven't said that it was on racism, because the wording is very specific. But that's what they're inferring. That's what basically they're inferring, that the tweet was of a racist nature. So, Man City says, why are they not going after the people who racially abuse guys like Sterling, Koulibaly, Moise Kean, Danny Rose, Blaise Matuidi, Lukaku? That's the real problem. Not two best friends just joking around. Well, it's not the FA's job to go after those, mate, unfortunately. But I think Kick It Out campaign could certainly start looking into those rather than making a big hoo-ha. You've got to understand, and this is the thing, and I think the Kick It Out campaign, for me, from what I know of them and from what I've heard lots and lots from their representatives talking on radio and things like that, do a wonderful, wonderful job. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a fantastic organisation and is necessary, absolutely necessary. But we know, and I know, and I've heard them talking about it, that they are massively understaffed. They are massively underfunded. They massively have a very limited budget to get their message out there. So the cynic inside you says, will they now use any tiny little thing possible to heighten their organisation, to create further publicity, further funding, those type of things? You know, and that's a cynical response. It's not something, you know, that I don't know whether I believe it or not, but it does make you sit back and think, you know, you are struggling for staff, a lot of volunteers. You're very limited in funding. I think I can't remember how much they said. They get something like £100,000 or something like that a year, or I can't remember, it's $1 million a year or whatever it is, for so many employees from whoever, the FA or other charitable donations and things. So they're struggling to maintain where they are right now. So you have to look at that sometimes and think, you know, would they, you know, jump at the chance and go to the opening of an envelope just to create publicity for their campaign? And is that the right way to go about it if that was the case? No, it should be funded solely through the government and the FA. The FA make enough money. The Premier League make enough money. They're the ones who should be funding them, giving them all the resources available to investigate these things. Kamal says, why don't the media look at themselves? They've had a racist agenda against black players. they're just deflecting the fact they're racist themselves. Well, I mean, I've seen the threads, I've seen them all for the last few days. I responded the other day to Oliver Holt from the Daily Mail, and I posted below his. In fact, I was one of the first to post below his article that he published, and just said, you know, I actually quite like Ollie Holt on the whole as a journalist, and he's always been pretty fair to Manchester City in his reporting and things like that. However, I said to him, you know, hold on, Ollie, you're starting to go down this route of like your media colleagues. Where were you writing articles about Raheem Sterling last year, or your colleagues being racist and clear agenda-based racism in the articles by some of these journalists? Where were you writing articles about that? There were very, very few journalists last year, very, very few. And let's face it, there are hundreds and hundreds of journalists out there. Very, very few. I'd say less than on one hand, actually, at the time when those articles were posted, coming out and saying, this is wrong, you know, this is a witch hunt. It took until Raheem Sterling came out himself, calling out the media, for them to actually take a step back and look at themselves. But now that's all sort of past now. That was months ago. It's almost like, oh, here we go again. You know, it's like we can get away with this. So, blah, 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 blah. Let me just go back up. Oh, sorry, I just moved my... Just moving that. The topic today, is we are talking about Bernardo Silva in particular. And you can see, if you look at the timeline, ticker line down the bottom, Bernardo charged by the FA. We'll have a quick chat about last night's game, and then any other sort of latest news that's out and about there. Most of it's just crap anyway, just a load of nonsense, if I'm being honest. Good evening, Chris Baker. How are you, mate? Joseph BT loves the club, gives his all. Don't ruin the boy. Cheddar says, what about Sterling's comment supporting Silva? Will they charge Sterling also? Joke FA. Very good point. Cheddar's absolutely spot on. I mean, if they're going to look at Guardiola, are they going to look at the FA going to invest, or is Kick It Out campaign going to investigate John Barnes and then ask them to talk to Sky or BT or whoever he works for? Are the Kick It Out campaign going to investigate Raheem Sterling for coming out in support of what? Not support, but defending him, like Pep Guardiola did. So is Raheem Sterling now racist? Kick It Out campaign going to petition the FA? Are the media, journalists, going to start writing articles? That's what I'd like to know. See if they've got the bollocks to actually now say, because there are plenty of them will write about Bernardo Silva and write about Pep Guardiola. Will they actually write about Raheem Sterling? That's a brilliant point, Shedders. Will they turn around and say, well, you know, if they're going to investigate Pep, they should investigate Raheem Sterling? Will they? Of course they won't, because it's just walking on hot coals. It's a dangerous area for them to go into. So this is why a lot of them are so contradictory in terms of what they write about, because we know it's for clickbait. Cookie Monsters on. This is just their way to get at City, because they know we're unstoppable. So they're doing everything to try and ruin us. Absolutely. Cal says, classic, that Silva makes a joke with his best mate, but clubs who have racist fans get away with it. It's just stupid. The press made a big deal out of this situation just so that they can sell papers. Well, not even papers now. A lot of it's electronic, so it's just clickbait. It's all to generate clicks. Joseph BT says, exactly, Cookie Monster. VAR is clearly a weapon to stop us. 2 clear pens waved off. We'll talk about that. Scott Williams, evening all. Just a witch hunt against bubblegum. We should be used to it now. By now. We should be, but, you know, there's only so much of it you can actually take. So, Peter Curry, I think Pep is going to have to put his arm around him to get him through this. It's probably going to affect him mentally. Peter Curry, I wrote already on Twitter today, somebody messaged me saying, Andy, do you think this is going to affect him in the future? And I said, I think it already has. You only have to look at the way he's played since this whole thing's blown up. He hasn't been great at all. And last night he looked well off the pace. So I think it's already affecting him. He seems like quite a sensitive person. So, yeah, Pep, you're right. Pep is going to have to put an arm around him. He's going to have to, really look after him, whether he takes him out the firing line at the weekend and just sort of then we go into international break and things like that and just gives him a few weeks away from it just to get his head straight, because it must affect him, because he's probably, even though I'm sure Mendy's putting an arm around him going, hey, brother, don't worry about it, blah, 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 and Raz and everyone else is supporting him. His name's in the paper every day by these pissing journalists for all the wrong reasons rather than his footballing skills. Abdallah says, is Bernardo getting a match ban? We don't know yet, because he's got until the 8th of October to appeal if he wants to appeal against it. There's no mention of any punishment. It could quite easily be a fine. It could be a match ban. We don't know. We have no idea. And we won't know anything on it. So people, please, try and not come back tomorrow going, so how many games is it? We don't know. He's got until the 8th of October to appeal the ban. I think it's the 8th of October or the 6th, one or the other. And he's got till then, I think it's the 8th. So once they put there whether they're going to appeal it or not, after that, that's when they will, he'll be basically put on trial. He'll have to go to the FA, he'll have to submit his appeal, he'll have to speak to them, and then they'll make a decision on whether he's guilty or not. And then when they made the decision of whether he's guilty or not, it'll be then when he's determined what is happening. So I would suggest during the international break, probably this time or in 8 days' time, something like that, that's when we'll probably learn a little bit more about it. Exactly, but no one sees it because it's made to make football better. When Chelsea fans abused Sterling, it wasn't publicised that much. Why didn't the FA give them a stadium ban? The FA aren't sending the right message. John Walters, we are Manchester City, we will conquer. Come on, Dina Asher Smith. Ryan Corrie says, hello all. I'm a bit of a late boy, don't worry, mate. Josie says, this season couldn't get any worse. Long-term injuries to Laporte and Sane. Bernardo fine. VAR against us, yet top of the group, second in the league. Shows how good we are. Absolutely. Slavia on top of Dortmund in this early game, says Ryan. Malcolm Elford says the FA are a joke. The FA, Malcolm, I'll be honest with you, like you said before, I don't think the FA have got any choice but to investigate it. You can imagine if the FA said, oh, we're turning a blind eye, kick it out campaign would be all over that, it would create more problems. The FA have to investigate it. There's no doubt about it. I'm sure it's a very fine line of whether they could have said, no, we're not charging you, or whether it's all to do with the specific rules and regulations that are within the FA. And if it crosses that, then they have to charge him. Whether they'll find him guilty is another matter. So this is weird on my phone instead of my PC. In bed since I've caught a lot of cold. Really? Hope you feel better, mate. We're Super City from Main Road. We are. He'll get banned till after the Liverpool game. Wouldn't surprise me. Andy, this is shocking, says Carl. It's absolutely amazing, mate. If Silva was racist, why is his best mate Sterling, Mendy, Mbappe, Pogba, Kante? The media have nothing else to say about actual problems like homelessness, drug abuse. Instead, they fire at the nice bloke. Malcolm says City should sue the FA. No way has Bernardo incited racial hatred with his tweet. Martin, evening all. Hi Ryan. Ryan's ill. Hi Martin, you handsome bugger, says Joseph. Raza, if the same thing VVD has said, could he face the same treatment? Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I would hope so. if Bernardo has, I would hope any player would. Would he? It's another thing. I love how Wayne Hennessy got nothing for a Nazi salute because he said he didn't know what it meant. Well, yeah, we discussed that earlier. I did say it was stupid. It was always coming. Loved Pep's comments when he said we've won by ourselves. John Walters, I once grounded Sniffles for doing a wee on a place. Martin says, evening Joseph, how are you? Malcolm says, imagine you'll get an educational session and a slap on the wrist. FA just trying to look like they're doing something. Well, you know, at the end of the day, I'll be honest with you. I like I said, it's not everyone's got a personal opinion on this. I thought immediately when I saw it, I thought it was naive. Did I take offence to it? No. Did people say, well, you're not black, you're white, you know, blah, blah, blah. Hey, listen, my kids are mixed race. My wife's mixed race. So, you know, doesn't mean to say just because I'm white, I haven't experienced racism. I have a black adopted brother, Nigerian, from when he was 3 years of age. Brought up in Woodhouse Park where there weren't many black people as a kid. And he's 5 years younger than me. So you can imagine the shit I got bringing him up, taking him to school, to primary school and everything else. So I've experienced it. Believe me, I have experienced this. I've had fights and fights and fights because of it from when I was a kid. So I understand it. I do understand it. I might not be black or of colour, but I understand what racism is, and I have experienced it. So it's not the point of that. Do I think it had racist overtures or undertones in it? No, of course not. Did I think Bernardo really knew what he was doing? No, I think it was just naive. And I don't think he should have put it on social media. I really don't. But then again, on the flip side of that, if you're seeing all of these other tweets that are all over social media that nobody else is picking up on, the media aren't pushing it, and they're all over social media, quite happy, or on national television, and nobody like the Kick It Out campaign jumps all over that and the FA don't get involved in that, is that not just turning around and saying, well, they seem to be okay with that. What's wrong with what I've done? So my opinion would be he gets a slap on the wrist. He goes into a re-education process where potentially, I don't know, he goes speaking to school kids and things like that. I agree with an article. I mean, it is an article, somebody I know quite well, journalist who you might have seen on Man City Fan TV before, and that's Jonathan Northcroft. Somebody I respect, somebody I've spoken to, I think personally talks a lot of sense, and doesn't try to go overboard and try to be dramatic. And I was reading through, I saw it this morning, but I didn't have time this afternoon, to really go into it. And I read it when I came home, and just, if you haven't seen it, go and have a look at it. But in this thread, he says, Bernardo had to be charged. What some miss is that it's not about whether someone is racist, but whether an action could cause racial insults, i.e. it's about the act, not the person. And logically, that's the only way it can be. Also, it wasn't a joke between friends. He published something for millions of people to read. It wasn't a private WhatsApp. However, given it's fairly obvious that it was in the context of friendship, and Mendy is fine, and Bernardo is mortified, I don't think a ban would serve any good. Best thing to come out of it would be if Bernardo was fined, expressed contrition, and helped educate others. Put the fine collected to appropriate use, put the fine that he might get to appropriate use, and get Bernardo to talk about things publicly and to speak to academy players about the issue involved and his mistake. Too often with these things, it's a battle lines are drawn between those who shout guilty and those who shout innocent, and nothing ever gets learned, improved or changed. And I must admit, some people agreed with that. Other people, pointed out, somebody had wrote, Jonathan, does anybody actually have the right to tell the supposedly offended party how they should have felt? Had Mendy taken issue with it, I get it. But if he's fine with the context and where it came from, then what gives others the right to have an issue with it? And Jonathan replied back saying, the point is he published it and it was read by millions. Once that happens, it becomes about more than how Mendy receives it. If a journalist writes something that causes racial insult offence, they might well lose their job and face prosecution. This is the point. When you publish something, it comes with responsibilities. And I tend to agree with that, I must admit. Some people on here were replying back and things like that, disagreeing. And I think some of that is very reactionary without really taking a step back and thinking about the whole process of how this has come about. But in the majority of that, I agree with. And I think, it was silly. It was naive. I don't think there was anything sinister in it whatsoever. And I think he should just get a slap on the wrist. If he gets a fine, donate that to Kick It Out campaign or something like that. And yeah, maybe for once, sometimes, just as a footballer, and he's not the only person, there are hundreds of them out there, just take a bit of time out from Twitter or get a social media team that are going to proofread and check these tweets before they go out. It's great having that personal touch where you think, oh, he's definitely written that himself. It's not his media team. But, when there's language translation issues in there and culture and blah, 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 it just leaves yourself open to anybody, for anyone to be offended by it. So, I don't know. I don't know. It just seems that the media would do everything to try and stop us, to give their darling club an advantage. Will make the victory even sweeter, says Carl. Good point. Janazade Akbal says, how on earth is it racist? It was a simple joke between the two best mates, and he was comparing their faces, not their skin colour. People are too sensitive these days. Dortmund leading in Prague, says Joseph. Cal says, I'm mixed race. I felt it was quite funny what Silva said. Nothing racist at all. 1-0 to Dortmund, says Ryan. Mingy Wong, I have friends that are black and mixed race too. Kamal says, what were your thoughts on the game last night? I don't think we played great, but we'll get the job. We got the job done. We did. Lashiel Blur says, Carl, exactly. Ivor's on. Hi, folks. Just home from work. Hope you've not had a load of chips again, mate. Josie says, sorry for being a bellend the other day, Cal. Don't worry about it, mate. At least you apologise, and that's the main thing. Ivor Bernardo will just get advised and probation. Martin says, with all our injuries and a possible ban for Bernardo Silva, if we win a trophy this year, this could be Pep's greatest achievement. It could be. Kamal, why are they bringing up Twitter videos of Bernardo and Mendy now? Evidence. All that does is on one tweet, they might turn around and go, well, he could have done this, he could have done that. Bring two to the table, it's like, oh, hold on a second here. There's a little bit of continuity going on between these actions. He's done this, and now he's doing this, and they could find something else that he's done and put that into the mix as well to say, this isn't a first offence. Come on, let's face it, I think this needs to be something done here. Builds a case for the FA or for Kick It Out campaign to put to the FA. Kamal says, Josie says, we didn't play well, but it was down to Zagreb parking a million coaches. It was. Guys, please go and give last night's videos a watch. Yeah, don't forget to go over. I don't forgive you, Joseph, unless you tell me how gorgeous I am again. Tommy 2-inch Freeman's on. What's disgusting, mate? What are you talking about? So that's been a full-on. Jesus Christ! And there's been a full-on nearly 40 minutes talking about the Bernardo Silva thing. So yes, we've just been talking about it 2-inch. We've been going on for the last 40 minutes talking about the Bernardo Silva case and what might happen, what might not happen. Martin, you're the most gorgeous Man City fan TV member. Don't let the haters say stuff about City and Silva. People are making deal out of it because they can't say bad stuff about the way you play on the pitch. Absolutely. It's one of those. Should it be dealt with? Yeah. Should he get a ban? No. Anyway, that's sort of that. 40 minutes. It's all about that. So going back to the game last night. What were your thoughts? Go over and watch the post-match videos. There is one where I was really fearful for Martin's health and safety because he was sat in his car. Apologies, I just plugged my phone in there. He was sat in his car, and I'm thinking, oh, I hope he gets home all right, because he was in a real sort of like mood about the game. But obviously, he was there in the freezing cold watching it. So I thought Zagreb made it unbearable. It was a very difficult watch. I must admit, I was up, I was knackered, but I watched right to the end, and it was late, early hours by the time I got to bed this morning. So I was cold as well. It was very, very cold last night by all accounts. I agree, the way Bernardo is treated is disgusting, says Ivor. So the game itself, I think you do have to give a little bit of credit to their defending. I must admit, I made a few comments on WhatsApp to Kiam and Martin during the game. I thought they defended really, really well. Very, very well, getting last-ditch blocks in and things like that. You could argue the fact that straight away after 15, 20 minutes, their backs were against the wall. And maybe it was probably the best thing they could do was just to park the bus and everybody behind the ball. Did it make for a great spectacle? No, it didn't. It made it very difficult for City to break them down. I thought some of the players on the pitch were very poor. I know, watching some of the post-match videos and listening to some fans today claiming that Benjamin Mendy was very, very good. I was like, really? His crossing was absolutely appalling. It was shocking. I thought Cancelo's crossing was awful, apart from one decent cross. He sort of come spring to life towards the end of the game. I thought his crossing and passing was overhit time and time again, hitting the first man over and over and over again. It just goes to show you how good Kevin De Bruyne's passing is. But I thought Mendy and Cancelo's first-time balls into the box were really, really poor. Very, very poor. And Pep even looked frustrated. He was like, oh, here we go again. First man. So I thought we were a little bit ponderous in midfield. I thought David Silva played really well. He controlled, rarely lost the ball. And I thought Gundogan started off very slowly. But then I thought towards the end of the game, he was becoming more and more of a danger as the second half wore on. I thought he had a very good second half in particular. But we just missed chance after chance after chance. And, how many shots went over the bar? How many shots, didn't make the keeper make a really, really top-class save? So that was disappointing. Could have been 3-4-0 up in sort of 25 minutes and games put to bed. You can get rest players. You can get Foden more game time. So maybe get Ad Garcia on or somebody. So, I thought it was a mixed bag. It was a 50-50. City were poor in the final third for most of the game, but I thought they defended really well, if I'm being honest. But we won 2-0. They got the points. We topped the group. We need one more to sort of almost guarantee us going through, and that's Atalanta at home. So let's just go back to your comments. I wasn't seduced, let's put it that way. Sorry if it sounded down, but the game was dull, and to be honest, atmosphere was so flat as well. Their defending was very impressive. Salzburg won't be pushovers either. No, they won't. Either softies moaning about the cold already. T-shirt weather. Hold on a minute. Wasn't you in a big parka with a furry collar the other week when I saw you outside the Etihad on camera? And it was quite nice that day. Carl Blundell Spurs was good yesterday. Oh, God. I've not seen any of it. I must admit, I haven't had time. But, my God, when I saw the final result, it was like, Jesus, 7-2. Plus, their fans were disgusting, throwing seats and lighters at us. A total joke. Hope the chap who got hit in the head with the flying seat as well. Oh, somebody got a hit on the head as well. Yeah, it's naughty. Mendy was woeful, and he did not even have any defending to do. I thought he was very, very poor. Yeah, I heard interviews with City fans and watched Martins and saying, thought Mendy was really good. I was like, what? he was terrible. His crossing was awful. And normally, it's one of his best attributes. I thought his crossing was terrible. I thought Cancelo's crossing was really poor. Very, very poor. Man City says, Mendy's just getting back from injury, though. Got to give him some time, just like we did with KDB. You know what? I don't buy into that. I really don't, Man City. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to. I don't disagree with many people that often, but I'm going to have to on this occasion. You only have to look at the first games last season when he came back. You know, was it 6 assists in 5 games he had, and then got injured and was out for the rest of the season. He'd only just come back from an injury, and those first 6 games he got, or 5 games, he got 6 assists. We saw him crossing last week. Well, was it? I can't remember who he played against. And his crossing was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So I can't have him being brilliant one game and then 2 games later he can't cross a ball for toffee. I don't think that's anything to do with injuries. I just think he just had a really poor game, you know. And you know, I like Mendy. I really like him. I think he should be our number 1 left back. But you know, when the crossing is so poor, you've got to call it as it is. And that's why I said Cancelo as well. He was really poor. Serious question: is Pep a psychopath? As always, twitching and agitating. He is certainly one that can't sit still. Getting back from injuries, no excuse for poor decision making. Totally agree with you, Ivor. Martin Foden should have started ahead of Gundogan for me. Perfect game for him, in my opinion. Yeah, but I thought Gundogan came into the game. And I thought he played, you know, pretty good in the second half. First half, not so good. We missed loads. Was very nervy at 1-0, especially we did. Mingy Wong, I thought the game was not that great last night. It wasn't a great game. It wasn't a great spectacle. And it rarely is when you get... How many times have we seen sort of in the Premier League teams with 10 behind the ball? It just becomes like they said on whatever it was I was watching last night online. I think it was BT Sports. They were saying it's like a training game. It's like 10 versus 8. 10 defenders versus 8 attackers. And it's just see if you can break us down. And it never becomes a good game to watch. Big thanks to all the people who came on camera last night, especially in the cold. Really appreciated. Yeah, to everybody, thank you. Scollins Mendy was shocking last night, but minutes in his legs. It is, absolutely. Evening, everyone. Andy, have I missed a lot? You've missed about nearly 50 minutes, Leonard. You need to get on earlier. Or you need to follow me on Twitter, mate, at Aviation Blue. And that way you'll get a notification that we're going on live. I put Spurs second in my prediction behind City. Section says City weren't great, but Spuds were a total footballing job. It was just unbelievable. Martin says, I've rewatched the game. My apologies, Mendy was poor. Ferdy was my man of the match. Amazing at the back. I thought he was very good last night. Very, very good. I thought Rodri was very good. He just looked so calm, Rodri, on the ball. Very, very good. He made a couple of the odd mistakes getting caught in possession. But players are going to do that during the game. But I also thought Fernandinho was exceptional at the back. Very, very calm. Mendy has always been clumsy in possession, and we already knew that, so it doesn't come as a surprise. Well, it's not Mendy in possession, it was his crossing. Normally his crossing is very, very good. Rodri is special. I'm so glad we got him. He was brilliant last night. He's going to be an exceptional player. Hi, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Joining, busy at work. Great win last night. It's hard against Park the Bus. It is. Rodri is better than Busquets, and David Silva is still one of Europe's best. He was, again last night, you know, his movement, his passing, the way he keeps the ball in tight areas. He's just exceptional. He is, and we are going to miss him. I know we might have, you know, Foden coming in, but we are going to miss that way he just holds the ball and dictates the pace of the game. Ivan says, Dinamo defended so deep and with numbers, and Mendy and Cancelo pushed so far forward they actually added to the lack of space and affected Bernardo and Mahrez's game. Yeah, that's a good point. It is a good point. I must admit, I did message the guys just into the second half when I was watching it, and I posted, what is this formation? And who's playing where? Because at one point, Mendy was playing like an inside number 10. And Cancelo was inside as well. And Mahrez, it was almost like there were 6 players all within sort of 20 yards of each other on the edge of their area. And it's like, where's the width? Who's out there? Where is the width now? It was like all congested. It's like kids' football. And then I think Pep saw it and was sorting it out and moving players around. And then obviously towards the end of the game, he brought Raheem Sterling on just to provide that little bit of width, bit of energy, bit of pace. And it looked, as soon as he came on, game just changed. They looked terrified of him. They were like 3 of them marking him, which created space for others. And yeah, I thought that was a game changer when Raheem came on. Had a tad of a testimonial game about it. There was no... Yeah, it did. The agenda is real. The agenda is real. Sawaffle. Mandy will return to his bed. Oh, yeah, without shout. I mean, look, he had a bad game. If David Silva has a bad game, I'll say he's had a bad game. You know, if Rodri has a bad game, I'll say he's had a bad game. I'm not slagging off Mendy. I've always said I really like Mendy. He can stay fit. We've got a world-class left-back. But when he don't play well, he don't play well. So I don't just call out Mahrez. I don't just call out Gundogan. I call out Mendy. I called out Cancelo. I thought Cancelo was average last night. He had little glimpses, but I thought his crossing was really poor. Bernardo got charged, trying their best. Yeah, they are. I did nearly have a breakdown when Rodri went down. It did. I was really worried. All 3 of us were having a breakdown. I immediately posted to the guys and I went, oh no. Well, I used different language. And I basically said, looks like potential dislocation because he was on the floor rolling around holding his shoulder. And I just thought, oh, Jesus Christ, please no. And then somebody posted, get up, you soft. Yeah. And he got up and he was perfectly fine. But thank God for that, because I was just thinking, God, if we lose him now. Section says, FA now scrutinise Pep's comments on Silva thing. Yeah, we spoke about it earlier, Section. Sorry, mate. But yeah, we were discussing the whole for about half an hour. I know you've come on a bit late, but we were discussing all about what's potentially happening with Pep and Bernardo. Please, please, please never tell me the refs abroad are better than ours. Wow, so bad. Well, yeah, or the whole thing, really. We made a couple of shitty decisions, the ref, if I'm being honest, the Rodri card and whatever else. But I just think VAR is just not working. What they should have done on those occasions, that's a clear handball. Clear handball. I don't forget the rules. It was a clear handball. There was also the one with Gundogan, where he was climbing all over Gundogan's back in the box. Anywhere else on the pitch, that's a free kick. So it should have been a penalty. And the Sergio one was just as clear as day. As clear as day. All they had to do was say to the referee, go over and look at the monitor. That's it. Make your mind up. For all 3, if they have to, go, well, I think there's a possibility of a penalty here, ref. Go over and have a look. Take you 30 seconds to jog over. Take you 20 seconds to watch it a couple of times. Make your decision. If you want to stick us no penalty, fine. You make the decision. Stop taking it out the hands of the refs and bottling it. Put it in the ref's hands. The ref's the one who's going, no, I don't think that's a penalty. And VAR going, I think you should look at this. And sort it out. And if the ref decides to stick with it going, no, I was right the first time, the ref's the one that's going to get it, because he's the one that's made the decision. It's just shite. It's absolute crap. It really is crap. And I don't know anybody, and even the anti-City Brigade journalists who have not said, it was clear as, it was day, absolute clear as day, the penalty decision, certainly on Sergio, absolute clear penalty. How VAR cannot say, you got it wrong, it's a penalty, or go to the monitor, you need to look at it, because it is a penalty, he stands on his foot, is beyond me. Absolutely beyond me. Which brings up the whole agenda. Conspiracy theories, all of these things, which, do I honestly believe there's a conspiracy theory? I don't know, I'll be honest. I'm not one for jumping on those things. But you do start going down it thinking, Jesus Christ, this is just a joke. Andy went very blue, believe me. I went very blue if I missed something there. it would be a miracle if we win only one trophy. Rodri had little to do as their midfield was playing in their defence last night. We needed someone like KDB. He would have dropped deep for the ball and drew them out. Rodri should have hung back a bit. I thought Rodri played well last night, Ivan. That ref last night was a total joke. VAR can go and breathe with itself. I went very blue. Yeah, I did. My language was a bit choice last night. What was the charge, by the way? Oh, I read it out earlier, Leonard. I'll quickly try and just find it. The charge is the charge with misconduct, and it is basically saying it was insulting, improper, and bringing the game into disrepute. It's also being classed as aggravated breach, meaning it's in the higher bracket of offence because it refers to race or colour. So that's the charge. There was nothing in there that says racism or anything like that. So obviously the language they're using is being very careful with it. Where the hell is Rob? Not seen him for weeks. Working. VAR works, but against City. Beyond belief, the people who need charging are those defaming Bernardo's good character and inciting racial hatred towards a young man. Absolute sweetie mouth, hypocrites, control freak, social justice bigots. How many of the terms could you get in there, BB? Mingyi Wong is probably busy. He is. I hate VAR. It's bobbins. Only TV fans like it. It's excuse my language. It's absolute garbage. It is just pathetic, and I don't think the rules help it. And I certainly don't think the way the regulations are with the use of VAR. I think they can use it properly, and I think it could be a really good addition if used properly. But there's far too many grey areas that just make things 10 times worse. It's that simple. Now, if there is anything, I think if they're going to bring in VAR, you must have a screen in stadium. You must mic up the referees. You must make sure that for every VAR decision, unless it's an offside, that VAR are the ones that make the decision because of the lines and everything else. Goal line technology is through the watch, so that's a decision taken out the ref's hands. But if it's things like penalties, red cards, blah, 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 the VAR says every ground must have screens, monitors in there, and the ref must go over, and the ref is the one that makes the decision. And that way, the referee will make the decision. End of story. And that is it. And that way, we know in the ground the ref has gone to look at the monitor, not no goal or no free kick, or we don't know then, has the ref made that decision or has VAR made that decision, and what is going on with it. It should be the ref goes to the monitor. We know if it's offside, it'll be VAR because they'll tell the ref, we've seen everything now, it's offside. A goal is told by the watch. Everything else, if there's any uncertainty, the ref has to go to a monitor, and every ground in the Premier League must have a monitor, and they must have screens in the stadium. The likes of Liverpool, the likes of Manchester United must fit there, and if it affects the fans and whatever, tough shit, absolutely tough. They have to be fixed because everybody in the stadium needs to know what's going on. That simple. And that way, VAR are looking for ambiguity in decisions, and what they're doing is saying to the referee, it's on you. Go and watch the monitor and you make a decision on it because you're the referee on the pitch. You've seen it 3 times, now you make a decision. Stick with it or change your decision. All this, we don't want to take it out of referees because referees will look like they're wrong. How many times does it happen in cricket? Umpire goes like that, review it, goes onto the screen, the next minute the umpire's giving it that it's not out, or he gives it not out, he's crossing his hands and he says it's out because it's been proven to be out. You know, they don't get embarrassed about it. So why are referees so precious? You know, Mike Dean and all the rest of them. Why are those Mike Riley, and all the rest? Why are they so precious that they don't want the referees being embarrassed because they get something wrong? Fans would actually appreciate it more. They'd go, all right, fair enough. He's looked at it. If he thinks that is not a penalty and he's looked at it 3 times, well, he's a fucking idiot. But at least he's made the decision, and we know he's made the decision. Fine. No problem whatsoever. But it's just so grey now. It's crap. Absolutely ruining football. And, like I said, it leads to conspiracy theories. Looks as if Martin is related to Andy. Mingy Wong, you'll be going training with the kids in a minute, you cheeky sod. VAR should be done like rugby and keep everyone in the process. Absolutely. VAR means City getting nada. New rules, lads. Yeah, looks that way. Me, Andy, laying down the law. Absolutely. Mahrez wasn't great, but grabbed an assist. Mendy was poor. Cancelo was poor. Ferdy was great. Otto was okay. Yeah, I thought he did all right last night. Sergio ran his socks off. He did. But he should. Yeah, he's finishing again. He's been like that a few times. What's the chances? Weekend bang hat trick within like 20 minutes. In the stands last night, did anyone actually know what was going on with VAR? It's ridiculous that TV fans get to know more about the game than those attended. Use rugby-style replays. Absolutely. It's got to come in. It's the only thing that makes sense. And if they want to remove any possibility of us, slagging off VAR and talking about conspiracy theories and blah, blah, just replay it, show it, and say, this is what you're looking at. When the ref's looking at it, ref looks at it, or the ref looks at it on the monitor, makes a decision, and it's immediately replayed what he's made the decision on. So last night, for example, Sergio Aguero, the defender stands on his foot. The referee says, no penalty. VAR says, oh, I think you need to look at this. So he stops play, calls it back, and VAR says, you need to go to the monitor. You might change your mind. It's up to you. Goes back, takes him 30 seconds to run across to the halfway line, look at the monitor. He's replayed once, twice. If he says, I need to see it from a different angle. Okay, now show me the first one again. Like they do on cricket. Okay, no, I'm sticking with my decision. I don't think it's a penalty. He comes out and he just says no penalty. We play on. It's shown on the screen then that we can all watch what because he's the ref, what he has made the decision on. And whether we go, you wanker, that's a clear penalty. Well, it gives us something else to debate, doesn't it? But we know he's made the decision after seeing that 2-3 times. Not, who's made the decision here? That's an absolute clear penalty. Last night, we didn't know. I was watching it online. I didn't know who'd made the decision. Still don't know. And we know what the rules vaguely are, but we don't know who actually made the decision. So, he didn't go over. Did VAR ask him, does he want to go over and look at the monitor? Did he say, no, I don't need to? Did VAR say, we've looked at it a few times, we couldn't guarantee it's a penalty. Do you want to go over and look at the monitor? And he goes, no, I'm happy with that, no penalty. Yet if he would have watched it on the monitor, he might have looked at it and thought, they're going to show that on the screen in a minute. I'm going to get lynched. It was a penalty. Changed my mind, it's a penalty. I don't know, but the way it's working at the moment, it's absolute shite. It's garbage, absolute garbage. Wome says VAR virtually assisted Robin. Very good. Hang on, Tommy Tickle minute. How is it being related to me? Bad thing. I'm insulted now. Hang on a minute. Hang on, Tommy Tickle. Hang on a Tommy Tickle minute. What's that? Hang on a Tommy Tickle minute. How is being related to me being a bad thing? I'm insulted. Oh, is that the comment before? Yeah. Are we doing player ratings? Yeah, we're going to do player ratings shortly. Right. I'll switch between a couple. I haven't got my other screen, my monitor, because I'm overseas in a hotel, so I haven't got my other monitor. So I'll switch quickly between the two. Firstly, Bournemouth. Now this, can't wait for them to come out. We're still learning. I'll make mistakes. Man City in American football, they show the replays as the refs are watching it, so it's never really a big. It should never be a really big issue. It's not in rugby. It's not in cricket, and they use it all of the time. And I've been using it. Has rugby not been using it for 10 years now? In the same way, I don't even think it's really been. It's not like they've gone through the. I don't know. I don't watch rugby that much. I'm sure it was introduced, and it's virtually hardly ever changed since it was introduced. On TV, you could hear what the ref was saying. You could, people can see it. and go, oh, or whatever in the crowd. There's no big deal with it. And at the end of the day, the ref is the one getting paid to ref the game. He should make the ultimate decision, not VAR, unless it's offside technology that has to come into play because of the naked eye, which there still is margin of error anyway in that. I'm with you, Andy. VAR as it stands is shite. It's still a subjective system. Well, it is. It's still going to be, because you've still got, there's so much subjectivity. I know it's not perfect and nothing in the world. They even say Hawkeye is potentially 1.1%, not 100% wrong on occasions. But you've got the technology. So you've got goal line technology. Yeah, now that is as pretty much as clear as it can be, because you've got a stationary object and a line that doesn't move. So the cameras are in a position whereby the goal doesn't move, the frame of the goal, and the line doesn't move anywhere. But when it comes to deciding a moving ball for offside, for example, they've got to decide 20 frames per second of at what point does that ball leave the boot? And when is the, is it there, or is it there, or is it there, or is it just here, or is it where they freeze it? Because it's at that point then they work out where the line is. But what's to say just that little bit wouldn't have made the line here, the foot just slightly behind the player? It's one of those. So it's not foolproof, but it's as close, I'm guessing it's as close as it can be to being 100%. So it's one of those, we have to accept that, offside technology. It's as close as it can be. Is it right? The rules, as in from the armpit hair and all that, is crap. The rules are crap. Because, like I've said before, you could have somebody who's got a size 14 boot, yeah, and they take it from the point of where his boot is forward of the defender's boot, who's a size 8. So he's straight away got 6 sizes of boot more. Well, he's going to be offside. So I guess you could say, well, he could score with a size 14 boot rather than a defender can't block it, etc. But just take it from the heel. Don't matter what size your boot is, take it from the heel. Or just do away with it and say, unless there's any daylight between the boot of the defender and the boot of the player, then if there's no daylight, it's a goal. It's not offside. It's just the rules are crap. They're so grey. I mean, another thing on VAR, just before we go on to the play ratings, is what makes me laugh is they brought in this rule that, they're not going to look at goalkeepers. How their feet have got to be on the line at penalties and things like that. And the FA have brought in this, the Premier League and the Referees Association, PGMOL, have brought in this rule that they're going to enforce 1 foot has got to be on the line, but they won't enforce it rigorously. Well, it's either a rule or it isn't. You can't sort of go, well, yeah, on this occasion, it don't really matter. It's only inches. Well, that's the same as every offside that we've seen so far. Matter of millimetres. But they're saying it's not so important. Of course it's important. It's a rule. It's a regulation. So either the goalkeeper has to have a part of his heel on the line when the ball is kicked, or he doesn't, and it's retaken, for you or against you, whatever way you want to look at it. So you can't have a regulation that they go, we're not going to enforce it as strictly as we do some of the other rules. What's that all about? Only the FA and the PGMO can come up, MOL can come up with some crap like that. And not only that, no wonder we haven't got Premier League referees refereeing in the Champions League. Simple reason being, last year, Pierluigi Collina, the head of the referees in the world, turned around and said, we can't have British or Premier League referees refereeing in Europe because we're using VAR and you're not. So we can only have referees who are used to using VAR. Okay, so what do? We introduce VAR and then we change some of the rules to suit us. So what does Pierluigi Collina say? Yeah, but you still can't referee in Europe because you're not running to the same rules that we are in Europe. You're creating your own rules. Fuck is that all about? They create more and more nonsense all the time. So for me, I'd say tough. Don't either introduce it as Europe has it or scrap the bloody thing. Just get rid of it. Just go back to it. So there you go. That's my thoughts. I can't be excited about Champions League even if we go to a final and ran this corrupt gauntlet up to that point. These people can just make up whatever they like, it seems, who is overseeing these clowns. Exactly. Spot on BB says, Scott, why are we being asked what would rather win the Premier League Champions? This City squad is full and fit, can win both. Good point, Leonard. They split hairs whenever it suits. Kid on their blind, bumbling idiots the next. It's one extreme to the other with VAR. It is. Ivor says, Paulo Fortes, Kun does not work hard enough. You have never seen City live in your life, matey. Who says that? Who says Sergio doesn't work hard enough? Are you kidding? Ray J737, I think there's still subjectivity in what this has been reviewed. Also, Michael Oliver and the VAR were choosing to not review potential fouls. In the last game, he refed against us, forgot the game. Yeah, that's true. He didn't. Yeah, no, he didn't. Mi Wong, do you know if VAR is going to be for the European Championship finals in the summer? I'm assuming so. Kun, for his age, does a lot. He gives everything, and we love him. We do. Oops, I'm slightly late. You're very late, mate. Don't say slightly. Very. BB says, which refs are the worst at using VAR? The PGMOL, cartel, or the UEFA sausage wallets? You know what I'd say at the moment? I'd say UEFA. I'll be honest with you. I'd say UEFA at the moment. But because that monitor is there and it's at every game, so it should be used. Aguero should score more, to be honest, which makes me doubt his quality. Jesus is the same. They miss way more than they score. They do. I can't remember what. Kiam messaged me last night and said something that was really funny about missing. Aguero should score more. He should. Bernardo looks out of form to me. I think he's been out of form since this whole thing reared its head, mate. Ray J737. He's not, since that whole thing came out about the tweet, he's not looked himself. So we'll see. What does Pep do? Does he put an arm around him and say, look, chin up, crack on against Wolves? Or does he pull him out of the Wolves game and just say, look, go away. We'll deal with this. Our legal team will deal with this. We'll submit the appeal on the 8th. It's International Week, blah, blah, blah. Go away, take family away, go and, just get a week away. And if you're called back, we'll send a jet for you and you can come back and go to the meeting and go back with the international team, or you can go back and take a week away. Just to get him away from the whole shite that the media write all the time. What's your thoughts on the charge? Yeah, I've already, we discussed this for about 40 minutes at the beginning of the video, mate, and I've also gone over it again. So I do apologise, mate. You've just come into the chat after an hour and 15 minutes. So you'll have to watch the video. About the first 40 minutes were all about Bernardo and Pep and everything else. Mahrez, even though they didn't play with him yesterday, this was very clear that he went to the left and made decisive pass. He did. Full time I posted this, not saying Rodri did not play well, Andy. Just think he should have held back 8-10 yards at times. City played into their hands by combating. Oh yeah, I mean, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. That's what I was saying before, Ivor, about there were like 6 players all within 20 yards of each other. Aguero's the best ratio he does. Is this stuff about Spurs true, Andy? Is this stuff about Spurs true? What stuff? Right, I'm going to do player ratings. So I'm just going to nip out of this for 1 second, come back so I can post some comments here. So, first player up is Edison. I don't know what stuff are you talking about. First 40 about Bernardo, last 40 about Mahrez to keep the... Yeah. What are you talking about Spurs stuff? So, Southampton Carabao Cup tickets on sale on Saturday. Leonard, not applicable. That's your score, is it, for Edison? Not applicable. Kian says 10. He didn't do anything wrong. To be fair, didn't have anything to do. A couple of great passes out, though, I must admit. 10, nothing to do. Anyone else want to give him a score? 8. Scott, 10. Gerard. Claire says, is that it? Are we just giving him a 10 and then moving on? Vertonghen cheated with Eriksen's wife, apparently. Oh, Jesus Christ, where's that? I've not heard that, mate. First I've heard of that. Now that if true, bit of gossip, then that is he was surfing the net for a new pram. 10. Chris Baker 7. Ivor 7. Pretty much Vertonghen slept with Eriksen's wife. Now Vertonghen has a black eye. Wow. Gossip monger as you lot. So, Chan Herb says 10. Didn't do anything wrong. Didn't, to be honest, didn't have a lot to do with him, being honest with you. So, for that, I'll give him a 7. There you go. I'm giving him a 7. Didn't have a lot to do. So, we'll wait and see. It's true, Poch says he might go to Real Madrid and will take Kane and Eriksen with him. We'll see. I doubt it just because of that. Rude. Kane punched Vertonghen. Kane, where's all this coming from? Right, moving on. We'll go for Cancelo. So, what were your thoughts on Cancelo? 6, 8, 8, 6, City fan says. Stop gossip mongering, you two. You're like two old washerwomen. Peaceful Decadence 8, section 6.5. Chris Baker 6.5. Ivor says 6. 7.5. Scott Williams. The man has potential 7. It's not about potential, it's about what he did last night, Jano. Man City 6.5. Mingy Wong 7. Ray J 737 says 7.5. This is City, not Spurs. Let's shush now. Did you hear about la-di-da-di-da? So, 5, says Gerard. Woo! Looks like on average there is around about a 6.5 to a 7. Oh my God, Cancelo played into the hands of Paul Crossing 6. Well, on I would say, looking at the scores here, is around about 6.5. For me, he got a 6. That was my score. I thought his crossing was poor, very poor. He made a couple of decent runs, decent turns, and made the odd, I think made about 2 good crosses. But on the whole, the amount of times he passed it long, overhit it, hit the first player. I thought he was average last night, which moves me on to another average crosser last night in particular, not normally, Benjamin Mendy. Will come along. Yeah, in his time, don't get me wrong. We're only judging. I'm not judging a player going, oh, it's his first game and he was crap. That's it. He's a crap player. We can only judge on his performance. Joseph BT 5, Kiam 5, Leonard 7. He was a massive loss. KDB was. Chris Baker 4, City fan 6, Peaceful Decadence 6, Section 6, Gerard 6, Scott Williams 4, Mingy Wong 4. Man City 6. Joseph, I swear we always say the same ratings. Phyllis says, Mendy very average, no defending, poor decision making 6. Ray J 737 6.5. Chanherb 6. I think overall here, I actually gave him a 5 if I'm being honest, but your score's averaging out is around about a 6. For Mendy. I thought Mendy was very poor last night, if I'm being honest. So your average scores that you lot think is around about a 6. So, okay. What about the general last night? What are you giving the general? Six, 7, 8.5. Section says 7. Chris a 6. 7.5, a 7. Chanherb an 8. Scott 7. Ray J 7.5. Gerard a 5. Barber 2. 7. Mingy Wong a 7. Peaceful Decadence a 7. 7 did what was asked. Camo 7.5. I changed to 8.5, says Joseph. I think both centre-backs last night were fantastic. Well, a 7. Anurag says a 7 as well. Yeah, he got a 7 from me. Normally I would say a 6 for an average performance. Thought he was decent, did nothing wrong. So, yeah, I think overall there it's around about a 7. So I didn't think he did anything. Not really well at 6.5, you reckon? Thought he didn't do anything wrong at all during the night. I thought he was decent. Playing alongside Bernardinho. So, what are we going to give Ferner for last night? I thought was very good. That's just my opinion. Chris Baker 8.5, Leonard 8, Joseph 7, Kiam 10, Gerard Mulclair 6, Ray J an 8, Peaceful Decadence 7, Mingy Wong 8, City Fan 7, Chanherb 9, Marty says 9, outstanding. Section 8.5, Imperious, Scott Williams 8, Man City 8, Fernandinho was so good last night, says Kiam. Anurag an 8. Whew. I think the overall score there is the same as what I gave him. Superior being 7.785, which I gave him an 8. Ivor Dino 8, controlled, but still wish he would be louder and command his boys. There wasn't much defending to do. He made a couple of very good interceptions. Very, very good. I thought he's just his class. I gave him an 8, and I think the overall score was round about an 8 as well. I miss Company and Laporte so much, says Ben _MCFC. Don't worry, mate. Company's gone. It's one of those things. But yeah, I miss Laporte as well. So that's the defence taken care of. Next on to our holding midfielder, which was Rodri. So what were your thoughts on Rodrigo? Joseph gives him an 8, Leonard gives him a 9, Section gives him a 9, Chris Baker an 8, Chanherb a 10, Kian a 7, Martin gives him an 8, Anurag a 9, City Fan 8, Gerard a 9, Mingy Wong 8, Superior being 9, Peaceful Decadence 8, Man City gives him a 9.5, Kian a 7.5, Ray J 737 an 8.5, Rodri the Rolls Royce triple R, says Martin. Phyllis Rodri 8 for reasons stated earlier. God, this is going to be tight. We're not talking about Gundogan yet. Well, I would suggest he gets a 9. There or thereabouts, an 8.5 to a 9. For me, Scott Williams gives him an 8. I would have given him an 8.5. Thought he was just slightly better than Ferner. Rodri backdrops on grass meant for trampoline. Well, that means Kiam. Now I mentioned the man took a knock and got back up and played like a champ. He did. Which brings us on to, you just mentioned it there, Barbar, which is Ilkay. What were your thoughts on Ilkay Gundogan last night? 6, 7, an 8. I was waiting for a 9 to come up then. A 5, an 8, a 6, a 6, an 8, a 7. Superior being a 7.5. Peaceful Decadence 7.5. Martin a 7. Section an 8. City Fan 6. Scott Williams an 8.5. Ooh, real mix there between a sort of 5, 6 and then up to sort of 8.5s. Ben _MCFC, very good, an 8. Leonard thought he played well. Phyllis Skundo 7, slow to start, out tackled everyone on the pitch, including Rodri. Fact, he was. I said it earlier. I thought he did start very slow and ponderous, and thinking, here we go again. Rodri, Gundogan, David Silva in midfield, no legs. It's going to be slow. He actually really grew into the game for me. I thought he was one of the better players in the second half. I think he's played too much who can hit the postage. Yeah, how many times has he hit the post in the last few games? He is intelligent. He's very... Pep says it. He's is so intelligent as a player. Phyllis, you do know that you don't need a paragraph to back up the rating. He likes talking, Ivor. Well, I think overall here, going back, 7s and 8s, right, he gets a 7.5 as an overall rating. I would give him a 7 or a 7.5 as well, maybe even an 8, because I thought he was very good. His shooting needs some work. It does, definitely does. My phone's going off there. So we've done Rodri, we've done Gundogan and Rodri. Now moving on to Harsh. What, 7.5? That's the overall score. It's not mine. It's the overall score, Scott, of everybody's. It's I'll give mine verbally, but I'm looking at the overall sort of average score of everyone. Merlin. Joseph Beattie 8.5, Chris Baker 11, what a man. Leonard 9, Chanherb 8, Peaceful Decadence 7, Section 8.5, Scott Williams 8.5, City Fan 8. Ray J says 8.5. Kiam gives him 111. Don't know whether that's a typo or not. David 8, little space and still used it. He was brilliant. Leonard London 7, question mark. Paul Miguel Massameo 8.5 for El Maggio. Paolo, sorry. Gerard Mulclair 8, Superior being 8. It's hard not to root El Maggio on being El Maggio and getting it on 10 always section. Anurag an 8, Martin a 7. Right, I'll have to throw mine into the hat, but you know what my feelings on David Silva. Well, this is solely on his performance last night. For me, he got a 9. But for you lot, he gets an 8.5 on average. That's about there or thereabouts. But I gave him a 9. I thought he was brilliant last night. Rarely lost the ball. Passing was just so intelligent. Really was. If Ivor likes talking, you can do my live vlogs. But love your comments, Ivor. Kian 8.5, David Silva, David Silva, David Silva, David Silva, David Silva. That's my paragraph, Phyllis. Don't at me. Okay, moving over. Love is nasty. You know what? For such a small guy, you forget how he tackles. He gets stuck into 50-50s. He's not scared of getting into 50-50s. And he's just non-stop last night, in around him. I know there was like 2 or 3 people. He's just at their heels. He won't stop. He's just brilliant. He could easily go into his final year of his contract and be, relaxed, and he's just not that type of player. He's an absolute model professional. Absolute model. He's just brilliant, and I am going to be devastated when he leaves. I'll do what I want. Right, moving over to the right side. And that was Riyad Mahrez. Joseph Beattie is 7, Leonard 7, Peaceful Decadence 7, Section with a 7.5, Man City 6, Anurag, can't imagine this our last season. Chanherb, hold on, Chris Baker 7.5, Superior being 7, Scott Williams 7, City Fan 7, Chanherb 7, Ray J 7, it looks like it's going to be a 7. 99999, we love Mahrez, Algeria, whoop. Martin 7, Anurag 7.5, Phyllis Mahrez 7, played well with Cancelo on his shoulders. Joseph Beattie says the Algerian Prince. It's looking like will be shocking day when Merlin departs. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it. I just don't. It's bringing a tear to my eye already. He wasn't bad, but Cancelo gets on in his way. Mahrez runs for the opening goal, was brilliant. Didn't use him enough in the first half. Good point. I gave him, well, I agree with the majority of people on here. I thought he was a bit in and out. He was like he was last season, first half. He was a bit sort of 2 minutes of real, wow, here he got, and then nothing for 20 minutes. And second half, thought he was much better. So overall, you guys gave him around about a 7, I'm saying. Right, moving over to our little new wizard, who's having a bit of a hard time at the moment, and that is Bernardo Silva. Seven, 10, 6.5, 6 says City fan. Chris Baker 5, Superior Bean 6, Chanub 6, Scott Williams 6.25, Section 6.5, not playing well. If anybody missing my gorgeous face, shut up you. Peaceful Decadence 6, Kiam 7, Phyllis Bernardo worst game in a City shirt 6, Anurag 6.5, Ray J gives him a 4. How often do you ever give a 4 to Bernardo Silva? I'm not saying you're wrong. 6, I would have subbed him earlier for Raheem. Martin, you gorgeous man. Don't play up to his bloody vanity. Harsh on Bernardo. I gave him a 5. I agree with who said it before. Ivor said, I thought it was his worst game last night in the City shirt. I thought he was really poor. And you could see straight away he just wasn't right. Just wasn't right. He was looking frustrated. He was losing the ball. He was overhitting passes. He just didn't look himself, and I thought he had a poor game. And I agree with what Martin said there. I think he should have been brought off for Sterling a bit earlier. But I just think this thing is affecting him, and just hope the quicker it gets resolved, one way or the other, we move on. He can move on, and he just doesn't. He hasn't looked the same player the last few games, so it's horrible. Paolo says, since Bernardo isn't playing with as much confidence before, yeah, no wonder Paolo, with all this crap that's been thrown on top of him and the charges being brought against him by the FA, so I'm sure that's playing on his mind as well. Remember, this is all like his tweet playing out in public. Going to be a hard season, says Reese. It is. We spoke about that at the beginning of the vlog, so you might have to go back, Reese, and watch it. We spent about nearly an hour just talking about all of Bernardo, Pep and stuff like that. Okay, so I think 6 is there or thereabout as an average score for Bernardo, which leads me now to the king. Striker, Sergio Aguero. Leonard 8, Joseph 7, Kian 6. Man City 6.5, City fan 7, Chanub 7. Ray J 6, Chris 7.5. Scott Williams 6.5. Finally made a live blog. Don't worry, mate. Peaceful Decadence 6.5, Superior Being 8. Olaf in a tree 7. Anurag 7, Reese Woodbridge 6. I ain't vain, you are. Phyllis's Big Blue Rabbit, Aguero 7, ran himself into the ground wearing Rashford boots at the moment. He is. Section 7.5. Martin 5, honestly 6. Wow, that's a bit harsh. Joseph, has anyone told you how beautiful you are? No. Oof, God. I thought some of you might give me a bit more on that. I actually gave him a 7.5. I thought he did really, really well last night. I thought, all right, yeah, his finishing could have been a bit better, but I thought he absolutely ran his socks off. 6 for running, otherwise would have been a 5. God, Martin, you're harsh. I'm suggesting, looking at the scores, he gets a 7. So, subs then. First sub on. Who's the first sub on? Give me a clue. Sure, somebody come on before Raheem. Did they? Am I missing something? Anyway, we'll deal with. Did Gabby come on first, or was it Gabby? Or was it Raz? I can't remember. Anyway, we'll deal with all 3 of them anyway. We'll deal with Raheem first. What are your thoughts on Raz? You're with Martin on Aguero. Wow. Rashid still. Joseph a 7. What's that? A 1. Man City 9. Kian 8. Peaceful Decadence 9. Chris Baker 8.5. Leonard 8.5. Section 9. City fan 8. Reese 8. Phyllis Raz 8 for impact. Scott Williams, 8. Superior being 8. Changed the tempo of the game. That he certainly did. Anurag, 8.95. Go on, Anurag, just give him a 9 then. Chalab, 9. Ray J, 737, 8.5. Paolo, an 8.5. Martin, an 8. Changed the game tempo. Radim steering. Chalab, he ruled when he came in. I thought he was brilliant when he came on. Much better than he was at Goodison. He was. Yeah, he does have a problem travelling to Merseyside. Still can't. One of those little things that he might even go through his whole career doing that. He got a goal and assist off the bench. Yeah, for me, looking at your scores, I'm going to give him an 8.5. I would have given him a 9, only because I normally don't give scores for players coming on and if they do, it's normally a 6. But he got a goal and an assist, and I just think he did change the game. So for me, he gets 3 extra points for that. I would have given him a 9, but 8.5, there you go. Does anyone like going to Merseyside? Okay, let's deal with Gabby J when he come on. You know, it's one of those. 6, says Joseph. Leonard, 7. Kiana, 4. 6.5, says Chris. 6, in too late to really do anything. 7.5, City Fan, a 6. Anurag, a 6. Superior being 7. Peaceful Decadence, 6. Section, a 7. 7.5, worked hard, said Reese. Martin, a 6. Chanherb, a 7. Didn't do anything, too late. Paolo, a 7. Okay, we'll give him a 7. I would have given him a 6. He didn't do anything wrong, didn't do anything in particular. But the average score from you guys is a 7, so we'll give him a 7. Scott Williams, a 6. He played a great deal in that plastic goal. What the hell? Gabardi, what's that? Gabardidol Jesus. I like his work rate. He always works hard. I'd like to see him on occasions with Sergio as well, and Mahrez and Sterling, or either or. So, which leads us to the last one. And that is our own Stockport Iniesta. 11. 9, says Joseph. Leonard, a 10. Man City, 8. Peaceful Decadence, a 10. Section, 9. Boy took his chance. Reese, 10 times 10. And that equals 100. Chris Baker, 7.5. City Fan, 8. Paolo, 10 for assists for kissing the badge alone. Chanherb, I meant last goal. Friggin' autocorrect. Superior being 7. Scott Williams, 7.5. Ray J, 737 and 8. Martin, a 9.9999. I gave Phil an 8, says Chanherb. Too late to mark. Scored though. He took that goal so well and kissed the badge 100. 10,000 is one of our own, says Anurag. You know he really meant that kiss section. He did. Phil an 8. Demfo. Demfo or Defo? I don't know what you mean by that. Okay, looking at it then, with a lot of 10s in there, Phil has to get an 8.5 on your scoring. I would have given him an 8, purely 6, because I always give out all subs a 6 unless they score or assist. But he took his goal beautifully well, and his celebration to the fans was worthy as a local boy and an academy player that's making it good in a team full of superstars. He gets another point for that, so that'll do him the world of good. He's just going to still have to bide his chance, though, and it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me in the slightest if Pep gives him a run out on Sunday against Wolves. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. So I love his down-to-earth interview too. I know he didn't play, but I like Harwood and Lumber. Harwood Bellis. Who's Lumber? Is it you talking about Jack? He just needs to beef up a bit. Yeah, that'll come. You know, you've got to remember he's still 18. He's not 19 until May. What's he? Is it May he's 19? Or is he 19 now? He's going to be 20 May. I can't remember. I think he's 18, 19 coming up in May. Kids only tend to fill out around about that time. I hope he goes on loan. I don't. Andy, you marked all but one player the same as me. What talented old Blues. Did I? Really? There you go. Just goes to show, doesn't it, buddy? We know what we're talking about. He was kissing the badge like it was Martin's. He needs to fill out. Very good, Superior Being. Smellis. Oh, you. You lot are on form tonight, aren't you? Hey, with your funny little quips. Anyway, I'm going to give one more. And that's Pep. What were your thoughts on Pep's team selection, his yellow card, his interview after the game? 108. Nice one, Superior. I hope he goes on to England midfield to practice for his chance at City. Chris Baker 7, Leonard 8. Reese 9, Superior 6, City fan an 8. 9 for 10, the fourth official that he was an arsehole. That's got to be deserving of a 10, isn't it? Scott Williams 6.75, Pep aka Norman Bates. Oh, so I forgot to give Cancelo for the Temple. Oh yeah, forgot about that. He was. I tell you what, he was bloody lucky he didn't get sent off, especially in a European game. 8, man, took a yellow on the chin for the defending his players. 10 because Pep is a mastermind. Peaceful says 8. Fan cams get a 10. Pep a 9.5 says beyond belief. Ivor says 8.5. He's Pep. Ray J737 says an 8. Section is laughing. Martin Pep an 8. I gave him an 8. I gave him an 8. He's got to be careful because in Europe, what we don't want him to do, we don't want him to get a ban, bring more shit on the club and things like that. But I would have gave him. You've got to give it. I would have given him a 7 for delaying in bringing on the subs. But you can't call him out when Raz comes on, gets a goal and assist, and his other sub comes on and scores. You could say it's a genius of the man or it was lucky, I don't know. But, yeah, anyway. How many for VAR? I think everybody knows what VAR gets, and that is just simple. And that is a big fat 0. Andy gets a 10 for amazing vlog. Thanks, mate. I love how... Say Twisted Pep, say fans prefer Premier League into Pep complaining about fans of York. Exactly, Reece, exactly. But that's the media for you. That's why they ask them. That's why they ask those questions at the press conference. I wish Pep would just ignore them. 10 for the vlog, thanks, mate. Superior 0. I hope that's for VAR. And you all get a 10 for your brilliant comments. Yeah, you've all been fantastic tonight. Yeah, VAR, absolute bag of shite. It really is. Just quickly, I'm just going to quickly just see. Was there anything else I want to talk about? No, we've talked about that. We talked about VAR. There's all the bullshit in Build. Again, Sport Build coming out with the fact that they're trying to claim that Gabby Jesus was offered in the summer to Bayern Munich as a way of keeping Leroy Sané at Man City, and the potential sale was for less than €100 million. I just think it's more shite that Build and all the German press are coming out with, again, to unsettle Leroy Sané, because Gabby's already come out and said he's happy. So all they're doing is just trying to just create this snowball effect with the media and try and build up to a point that it influences Leroy Sané. And that's not to say Sané might not sign for Bayern, but they're trying to now build that. And if it's not true, and whoever has said this, I hope that City legal team look into it, if there's no truth in it, because they're actually claiming in quotes that Pep or City offered Gabby Jesus to Bayern Munich in the summer for less than €100 million. I cannot see that whatsoever. I think it's more bullshit from the German media, because we know now all they do is just troll and just roll out bullshit after bullshit after bullshit article. That's all they do. Now we've got more sort of crap coming out, and this is what makes me laugh. That Martin Odegaard, you remember Martin Odegaard, you know, the big prospect who went to Real Madrid and really struggled that apparently Man City, Arsenal, and Wolverhampton Wanderers are really interested in Martin Odegaard. They'll have to stump up around 72 million for this kid who, at one point, as we know, was the most talked about 16-year-old in world football. The so-called next Messi, the usual sort of crap that goes on. But he's just hasn't worked out for him at Real Madrid. He's been to Herenveen. He's also been in Vitesse in Holland, and they've given him first-team football. And they're claiming that he's been nothing short sensational since moving to Real Sociedad in a 12-month deal from August, saying that, you know, with his left foot he's been picking defences apart, things like that. I'd be very surprised if you know, 72 million quid. I think Wolves' highest transfer signing is 40 million, if I remember rightly. So to up it again to by almost double, I'd be surprised. And let's face it, if City are in for Odegaard, Wolves are hardly going to get a sniff in. And no disrespect to Wolves fans, you're just not. It's that simple. Do we need him? No, we don't. Not for that money. He needs to be able to get into a team like Real Madrid, who, let's face it, are unbeaten this season, but have won 4, lost 3, if I remember rightly, so far in La Liga. And if he can't get into a team like that, how's he going to get into a Pep Guardiola team? So for me, it's more a bullshit story, if I'm being honest. Anything else? Only Calcio Mercato, we've given you news from them before in talking about Florentino Luis, who we've already done to death in videos that we've done and spoke about for weeks and weeks last month. But one of were the big agents and CEO of TOF agency, Bruno Carvalho Santos, is bigging up the kid, saying that he's got the quality to be one of the best midfielders in world football and thinks he'll be an absolute sensational number 6 in years to come. He's only 20 years of age, but we've just spent all that money on who is, let's face it, been absolutely amazing, and that's Rodri. So I can't see us going anywhere near paying £100 million for Florentino Luis. So I think it's just another agent trying to big him up, put his name out there for next summer transfer market. So, right, that's the roundup for today. Cheers, Andy, Rob, Martin, Kiam, and all for bringing us Man City Fan TV content every day. The fastest growing Man City fan channel. It is. It's growing rapidly, which is brilliant. And that's, I think, all the hard work that's been put in behind the scenes, not just from me and Martin doing the live vlogs, but Kiam and Rob and everybody else who's contributed, Chris Baker, everything that Chris has done. We're going to get Chris involved more. I'm going to be I'm going to contact Chris when I get back from this trip and get Chris involved on a few more videos included on the channel as well. So yeah, everybody's working really, really hard. It's been like a mad sort of 2-3 weeks, and I'm sorry if we haven't always got back to you on with certain stuff. It's just that we've been really heavily focused on getting certain sections that still not come out yet tied down and working the graphics, working right and everything else. And I hope you really like the way that we've worked hard on getting all this together with our new formatting and what we're doing at games and things. So a big massive thank you on behalf of me to everyone who's working on the channel. I really do appreciate all your hard work, and you know, at the end of the day, they're working for free. We're working for free. So I said the money is going towards Tackle for Manchester. So any profit we make from, you know, the monetization of the channel and, you know, charity stuff that we're auctioning off, it's all going to Tackle for Manchester. So we want to try and raise, like I said, we're trying to aim for around about £3,000, hopefully as quickly as we can. So we'll be doing a proper formal sort of auction of the artwork, the signed Phil Foden, Leroy Sané, and the Centurions artwork. And hopefully we can raise a bit more money towards that target. So finally, let me go back, just say we were missing Fernandinho in midfield, though I prefer Stones there personally. Ivor says City will struggle to score goals without Sané. Remember that from the Blue fanboys. Yeah, I know. Got to check on the chips, no problem, Reese. Remember when they said David Silva won't cut it in the Premier League? Remember when they said Kevin De Bruyne? Remember, was it Merson who said Kevin De Bruyne? Is he worth that? Top stuff, Andy. Have a good one. No problem. Thanks, Scott. 10,000 subs. All love the biscuit chatter. Yes, that'll be coming back very soon, that section. We've got another quiz coming up as well, so I hope you're available for that one. Andy, you're a 10. Good job as always. Thank you, Leonard. Ivan says, Sani did not play a lot last year, and we scored plenty of goals. He did score some big goals. Yeah, I mean, he did. He didn't play. He was very in and out of the team last season. But like you said, he did score some big, important goals. Cheers, Andy. See you, Ray J. I know he went to most of them games he played in. That was not the point I was making. Cheers, Andy. Thank you, mate. Help us reach 10k, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you, Superior Being. Is there anything we can do about the toxic Algerian Mahrez fans? Or do we just have to deal with it? You get some good ones, you get some bad ones. You just have to try and ignore them. Or we just block them, put them in a timeout if they're being really offensive. Tackle for Manchester is a great charity. Always say charity begins at home. Absolutely. Free. I want to renegotiate now. Take care, Andy. Beyond belief, Robbie Savage said he wouldn't pay to watch KDB, the absolute balloon. I know. Quiz, yes. Big Blue Rabbit got you. Sorry, my apologies. Anything for Andy and Kiam and Rob. What a great team to work with. It's amazing. Thank you very much, guys. Listen, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV. I want to say a massive thank you. It's been a massive bumper edition tonight. It's been nearly 2 hours long. So thank you for those who have stuck around for it. It's been a lot of big talking points. Like I said, the Bernardo, to recap, the first nearly an hour of the video is all about Bernardo Silva and the charges by the FA. We're talking about Pep Guardiola. We're talking about other incidents to do with the Jamie Carragher comments about Joleon Lescott, the absolute hypocrisy of some of the journalists that are out there, and some of the comments, and the even Kick It Out campaign, and the fact that they don't investigate certain incidents but have taken offence to this particular one. So that's about the first hour. All is about the Bernardo Silva, the FA. Then we talk about VAR, and we have a big long discussion about VAR. For about 15 minutes talking about that. We also talk about last night's game against Zagreb, and then we also looked at player ratings as well. And then finally, just some quick news on the garbage nonsense that's out in the papers around the world at the moment. So anyway, this is Andy from Man City Fan TV. I want to say a massive thank you for tuning in, giving me all your comments, and it's fantastic that you interact so well with each other and us, so we do appreciate it. Without you, it wouldn't be the same. So, guys, just want to say again, thank you. If you're not a subscriber or you know people who might be interested in subscribing, don't forget, tell them to click that red button, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon. That way you're notified immediately if some videos that are posted. Don't forget, go over and watch the fan cams and the vlog, the match day vlog from yesterday. And listen to what some of the City fans and Martin have to say about the game last night. And yeah, we'll be back as usual tomorrow. Not sure what time. It'll be maybe a little bit earlier tomorrow. But anyway, take care. Have a wonderful evening. It's nearly 10 o'clock here. I'm going to have a shower and going to bed. But take care, guys. Don't forget, this is Man City Fan TV, and we'll see you soon.